I stand before this joint session of our National Assembly, a parliament that embodies the will of Nigerian people. Today, as I entered this grand edifice built from the sweat and toil of our democratic yearning, my heart stirred. It was a blend of accomplishment and resolve. I felt a sense of collective accomplishment when I realized how far we had come as a nation. Since 1999, democracy has risen from the ashes and destitution of military rule to take its original rightful place as the only mode of governance of resilient and beloved people. With every footstep I took through this hallowed hall, up to the moment I now stand before you, I remember that we still have so much and a lot for that to go. To achieve this progress, we sought an elective office to lead this nation forward. Thus, I hereby affirm before you, our merciful and almighty God, and all men, and resolve to do all that I could do to safeguard and build our democracy as the divine hand intended for us to do. Since 2018, we have celebrated Democracy Day on this day to commemorate the sacrifices of the men and women who fought to restore democratic governance to Nigeria. Let me pay tribute to my predecessor, a former President Muhammadu Buhari, for reaching back into history to rectify a national misdeed by making June 12 Democracy Day and by officially acknowledging Chief MK Abiola and his running mate Babagana Kingibe as the victors and the duly elected president and first president, respectively, of Nigeria after June 12, 1993 election. Year, election after election, every time we debate instead of battle, we discuss instead of fight, and argue instead of destroy. We preserve the institution of democracy. More importantly, we weave the culture of democracy into very fabric of our nation. We thank God for this. Whilst MK Abiola is June 12th central figure, we must not forget the long list of those who equally deserve to be called heroes of democracy. We must celebrate the courage of Alhaja Kudirat Abiola and Pa Alfe Rewani, both of whom were murdered by agents of military repression. We also remember the many civil rights activists, journalists, and politicians imprisoned, exiled, tossed aside, tortured, and beaten by the military regime. We remember Chief Anthony Enoro, Commodore Dan Suleiman, Chief Abraham Adesanya, Ayo Adebanjo, Chief Gani Fawehinmi, Balarabe Musa, Ganiu Daudu, the journalist Baguda Kato, and Commodore Ndibusi Kanu. I mention these names not to exclude or degrade the profound contribution of anyone else, but to illustrate Through these few heroes, the universality of our pursuit of democracy. The struggle was never the province of any one group or section of the country. It was pan-Nigeria in its conception, and it will even be more pan-Nigeria as we strive to perfect it. It is fitting that I come to this chamber to you. You are the authors of the people's law, and I must be their faithful implementer. While we may not always agree, we must forge a way to work together, because this is what democracy demands of us. I pledge myself to this cooperation and ask that you do the same for the good people of our country. Mr. Chairman, the National Assembly has acted to uphold democratic ideas at every critical moment in our nation's history. In 2006, the Fifth National Assembly protected our democracy against a seemingly third-term bid that would have ripped our Constitution apart. In 2010, the National Assembly, through the doctrine of necessity, opened the door for then Vice President Goodluck Jonathan to become the acting president following the illness of his predecessor. Even under the military, the National Assembly tried to protect our democracy. After General Abacha took over power on November 17, 1993, and dissolved the National Assembly, some of us, led by Senator Ame Ebute, the Senate President of the Third Republic, defied the General and his goons, and we reconvened Old Parliament Building in Lagos and declare that regime illegal. We had so the determination to reinstate democracy, but we were jailed for our defiance. On behalf of a grateful nation, I commend your invaluable role in lawmaking, oversight, and constituency representation. At this point, I plead for your indulgence so that I may put a terrible rumor to bed. To those who ring the alarm that the APC is intent on a one-party state, I offer you a most personal promise. While you are alive, as a result of their panic, it rings an error. At no time in the past, nor any instance in the present, and at no future junction, shall I view the notion of one-party state as good for Nigeria. I've never attempted to alter any political party registration with INEC. Equally, my dear friends and colleagues, we cannot blame anybody seeking to bail out of a sinking ship, even without. Look at my political history. I will be the last person to advocate such a scheme. In year 2003, when the then governing party tried to sweep the nation clean of political opposition through plot and manipulation. I was the last progressive governor standing in my region. In their number, they boasted. In all their numbers, they boasted of ruling, not only governing Nigeria, for the next half century or more. Where are they? Yet, my ally has been induced into defeat. My adversary held all the man could carry. Even with all of that, they could not control my destiny. I could not control our national destiny because fate is written from the above. A greater power did not want Nigeria to become one-party state back then. Nigeria will not become such a state now. The failed effort to create a one-party state placed progressive political party forces on a trajectory to form the APC. It put me on the trajectory which has brought me before you today. I dare not search a favor to any political adversary by repeating the same mistake of political overreach. A one-party state is not in the oven, nor should it ever be. That said, we would be guilty of practice if we close our door on those who now seek to join. I sincerely welcome our members and our led by and other national members of this respected National Assembly. You are all welcome to the progressive vote. Nobody should close the door. Political fear, political parties, fear for members may be better served by examining their internal processes and affairs rather than fearfully conjuring up demons that do not exist. For me, I would not say try your best to put your house in order. I will not help you to do so either. It is indeed a pleasure to witness you in such a necessary.